Whoops.
A little
rusty.
error from our producer, the first time in a long time.
That is okay. What's up, everybody? And welcome into the Real Boys. Today, we were reviewing my number 3, Mallrats. It's a 1995 film. Thank you for putting that on there, because I was not sure if it was 1995 or not. But 1995 Mallrats. What was... Everyone, this is like Kevin Smith. Yeah, I got to make sure I get the right name.
It's your top 3. How the hell did you not?
I mix up Kevin James and Kevin Smith a lot. I'm sorry. I do it.
We're going fast and loose tonight. Everybody's off their game.
Yeah, I've been talking
I
all
do
day.
it. But
I love this movie. This movie is just so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I see the poster, though, it does remind me. I always think of either The New Guy, because it has something similar in style, the poster, or it's Tom Green.
The Tom Green Show?
No, well, that's
kinda
Canadian,
MTV?
but no, just the way he's standing and what he's wearing, I'm like, that is Tom. No, it's not Tom Green. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. No. Oh yeah, that's just my little caveat. That's what the poster. When we had the poster up, I'm like, wait, Tom Green's in this movie? I just watched it. Oh no, it's not. Shit. That's all. Just random shit that Phil thinks of.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very comic book style. This is also a movie based around comic books. Who collected comic books? I was not one of these people.
I didn't collect a lot of comics. I collected specific types of comics. Like I have the whole Wolverine origin when it came out. I have doubles of that because I knew it was going to be worth money. I have some Green Lantern. I have some other comics and that. So yeah.
Even as a kid, you were no fun, is what you're saying.
No, I have the reason I have 2 is one I read and the other one I kept because I was smart.
Yeah. So you're no fun.
How the
Hi. I'm little kid Phil. I can't wait to make money off of these in 20 years.
Listen, punk rocker oldie. Okay. I don't want to work for the man, so I want to make money myself. So if anything, that makes me more punk rock than you.
Yeah, uh-huh. The worst
I don't
thing
work
about
for a
that
man, I
is
work
that
for
you
myself.
thought that comic books would be worth money in the future.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Sports cards are worth money now.
Sports cards are worth a lot of money.
Yeah. So are Beanie Babies and Pokemon.
Beanie Babies aren't worth shit. Pokemon
Yeah, no.
cards.
Unless it's
that's
the
where
Princess
it's at,
Diana.
baby.
I think the Princess Diana is the only one that's worth money. I don't know.
All right, we're not talking about Beanie Babies. We're talking about Mallrats, baby.
Talk about Mallrats. Did anyone get to see the I believe it's the unedited version, the extended version
No.
with the Paul Revere, where he's trying to shoot at the mayor?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna go over this with you guys real quick because this is the one I always watch.
This is something I need to see.
But at the beginning, Brandi is looking at the stars through a telescope on top of the school. I think they're at, and TS is doing like a play, and he's playing Paul Revere, and he has a musket, and the mayor.
Dylan's face is amazing.
The mayor shows up. Yep. The mayor shows up, and she's with Mr. Svenning, and he's trying to get the check to do his game show or whatever it was. And long story short, the musket gets stuck in what's her in Brandy's hair, and then they think he's trying to assassinate the mayor. So. And then the mayor gets tackled over a table, and she has to get stretchered out with a neck brace on and everything. The check gets ripped up, and Mr. Svenning hates TS a lot more.
Never saw it.
Okay.
Yep.
What?
So yeah, if
Where
you guys,
did you see this?
it's pretty much on all the streaming sites.
The legal streaming
I
sites,
watched-
because that's what
yeah,
we
I
do
watched
here at the
this
Real
on
Boys.
my DVD.
Yeah, there's a lot of little quips in there too that aren't on the final cut. So it's just, go back and check them out. Go to your local streaming service and check them out.
Your
Yeah,
mom
but
and
then I
pop
would have to
streaming
watch
site.
this movie again.
Right. Your mom and pop streaming site. But yeah, anyways. Oh, the Sega pause game when the start of the movie, when he's getting knocked on the head by I think Rene is her name, but I always call her Brenda in everything I see. Because she's Brenda. She's Brenda.
Yeah.
Right.
And who here has paused their game overnight just to continue it the next morning? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What games? We'll go, Mike. What games?
Woof. It would have been on the original PlayStation. Probably like Metal Gear Solid, the first one.
Weak.
In the middle of a mission, because you couldn't save whenever back then.
Yeah.
So in order to get through a mission, so if you're playing too late at night and you have to go to bed because you have to go to school in the morning, yeah, Metal Gear would be the one that I would be most confident in my answer.
What about you, Jarian?
Rampage. Nintendo.
Rampage. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
man.
game.
You know how hard that is. Like that's an all-nighter. You either stay up all night with your friend on a, you know what I mean? You got to
Oh, yeah.
night. You can knock it out, but if not, you're playing that solo. You got to overnight that bad boy.
Dylan?
I think it was Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, way back on the original Xbox.
Yep.
Hey, it was revolutionary at the time.
I
Yeah.
know
Hell
it
yeah.
was. And the side stuff, we're not going to get into Oblivion, but the main storyline of that is so fucking boring.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. The rest of it's super good, but the story sucks.
Phil.
Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
All the time. All the
First
fucking
one?
time.
All of them.
The third one. All of them. I would randomly.
say
I would start playing them on the NES, and then I would be like, my mom's like, it's time for bed. So I'd pause it, turn off the TV, go upstairs, go to bed, wake up really early for school just to play like a couple extra 5-10 minutes of Mario, and then come
Are
home
you
and
telling
play.
me you can't beat the first Super Mario Brothers in less than 10 minutes?
I wasn't
Fucking
an
noob.
adult. I was
An
still a
adult.
child. At least I didn't need to pause Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid.
Muggle
In the
Gear
middle of-
Gobble.
Fuck off, bastard.
Well, learn how to say words.
I can't. I have a speech
Right.
impediment. I actually had a speech therapist when I was younger because I can't say I can't roll my R's and I had problems saying the S, like saying S's in words.
Oh, that's terrible.
And then I had $10,000 worth of dental work, i.e., braces, for fucking 6 years, and I still can't
All
speak.
right. All right. So
Little history
so-
for Phil.
Tell us more, Phil.
No one wants to hear this.
No one wants to hear
my
it.
life
No one
story.
wanted to hear
Let's go
that
into this
much.
movie. It's more entertaining.
Yeah. So
Oh my
Rene
God.
pretty much breaks up with Rene, aka Brenda, pretty much just breaks up with Brodie, and I don't know, it didn't need to happen. She just wasted a lot of time doing it. Just hand him the letter and get the hell out the window.
But she was
Yeah.
hoping that he would fight for her and show that he really cared, when guys don't have the time at that age to really care about shit.
Dude fell
I don't-
asleep playing NHL 97, by the way. So
That-
go Hartford, go the Whale.
This
Yeah,
This
right.
movie-
I was trying to remember who he was playing.
this movie does this thing that I hate, that your protagonists are such shitheads that you need to make your antagonists like the worst people in the world so that you still root for these shitheads that you have like leading your movie. Like Jason Lee he's so good. Like his dialogue is the most ridiculous shit you've ever heard. It's way overwritten, but he's so good and so like captivating. When he's talking, it's interesting. There's not too many people who could have played this role and made it as good as he did, but he's such an asshole that like in order to make him the main character of the movie, they had to make Michael Rooker and Ben Stiller.
Nope.
No.
I'm
Wrong
not the
Ben.
only one that does
Affleck.
it. So there you go.
Yeah, you have to make Michael Rooker and Ben Affleck like the worst people in the world so that you'll like these other two that also completely suck.
That is kind of Kevin Smith's early like niche. Is we got some shithead guys, and the women in their life kind of turn them around, but then are also prizes. And I think it's something he's kind of walked back recently. I think he's kind of I think he's kind of like admitted, he's a young filmmaker, who's a young guy who was dealing with his own relationship stuff. But it's a trend in these first few Kevin Smith movies.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's in essence, it's him journaling his life at that point and what he's gone through and how he wished things would go through or how he wished he was. It's him just sharing what he is, and then he realized that's because during the 90s, that's all we got inundated with, being a jackass to your girlfriend. The girl's supposed to do whatever you say, like all the girls are all passive and this and that, and then in reality, oh hell no.
It doesn't work that way in real life at all.
God, no. These guys don't deserve any of these women that they get in these movies.
So
They're
did you guys?
the absolute
I'm sorry.
worst.
Did you guys know why TC was running from the news then? If you didn't see the alternate ending or the alternate beginning,
No.
because he was running from the news crews, and that was pretty much why the entire movie. Well, the entire 15 minutes of the first part of the movie.
No, I'd never. I don't know that I had even noticed. I've seen this movie twice. Within the last year now. I don't know that I remember him running from news people. I remember him running from the cops and mall security.
Yeah.
But that's pretty integral to the story.
Right. Yeah, because though it's Jay and Silent Bob's Plan A, which I wanted to talk about, the sock full of quarters. And how well that turned out, damn kid. Now, what was that kid the same kid that was sitting on the escalator?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't.
I can't remember.
All right, awesome.
I have nothing else about it. It's just no. It was just a different kid because I even rewound it just to make sure.
Wow,
I
how
don't
old
know
are
why,
you?
But I did notice.
Did you watch it
that
on
they were close.
VHS? You round it with your tape?
You rewound it?
Yes, you
Did
rewound
you have to use a
it.
pencil?
That's oh my god, Phil. Can somebody mute Phil?
Phil, I know what you're trying, but man,
Is that a cassette?
Yeah, I know.
And also, you
I tried, and
You
it
can't
failed.
rewind a VHS tape with a pencil. What
Yeah,
the
you can.
fuck?
if you try hard enough, maybe.
Anything's
Right.
possible. You can work
Ugh.
anything out with a pencil.
Ugh. All right, let's keep going, Dan.
What did you guys think of Trisha and her little experiment, knowing that she's 15 years old?
Wow.
It's a very weird part of this movie. The sexualization of these women, like
It's very 90s.
yeah,
Yes.
like between this and what is her name? Joey Lauren Adams.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
character is sexualized for absolutely no reason. Like Silent Bob keeps busting into her dressing room. There's that scene where she's trying on underwear for absolutely no reason.
I think it was
Like,
just
Yeah,
In the
the
middle of the
weird sexualization of these female characters is uncomfortable, and it's really prominent in this movie too. This is like because even in Clerks, where a big part of the plot is the one girl sucking 37 dicks. They're not sexualized as much as they are.
There's like she sucked 37 dicks. We're not going to sexualize her though, except for the one scene where she fucks a dead dude.
That's
a different girl.
No?
That's the girl that was getting married in the newspaper.
Oh shit, that's right. My apologies.
Jesus, Phil, how many times have you seen Clerks?
Apparently
Wasn't
not
it one
enough
of your
times.
movies?
It is.
It is.
No, but I'm talking about the sexualization of characters. Fuck off.
Yes.
Just kick me off. I'm done.
Nah, you're good.
No, it's we need somebody to make fun of.
Phil is it today.
Where's fucking Justin when you need him? God damn it.
Now, I wanted to jump to the part where one of the parts where I thought was funny as hell is when Brodie raises hell outside the comic book store. And he's like, when he goes, just because the guy's into comics, you can't start some shit. And I thought that was like one of the funniest parts of the movie.
Yeah, classic line.
When he finds out that Stan Lee was there signing autographs.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Lee in general is really good in this. Like he's a charismatic guy, and apparently he hadn't acted before he was in this. And Good
You
for
can't
him.
tell.
Yeah,
Right.
I
no,
personally
he's-
love his quote that he does about when asked about the ladies, how him and Mick Jagger were swimming.
Oh yeah, with the Stanley conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
How is he obsessed with like the male genitalia of all?
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
like, your friend needs help, and then it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was swimming in the pussy with my Mick Jagger. It's like, yay, yay.
He's like, what about the Hawks junk? What's that made of? But then you got part two. You got the Batman plan, which I like. Another great quote. Fly, fat ass, fly.
The
Definitely.
The whole. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, the movies definitely have some classic one-liners that,
Especially
you
coming from Jay. Jay had some
Yes.
good one-liners.
Jay did.
He had the audition for this part.
That's weird.
Funny
yeah.
enough, the whatchamacallit, the studio almost replaced him with Seth Green.
Yeah.
And
I
Breckenmeyer
remember
also
someone saying that.
auditioned, but they all agreed that Jason Mewes was this character. So thankfully for that.
I remember us talking about that later on our earlier episode, actually.
I can't imagine Seth Green would have been good in this. Like,
Or in any of them.
I can't think of anything I've seen him in where I was like, yeah, Seth Green.
The only one
Good
is
in
Austin
Buffy.
Powers. He was really good in Austin Powers.
He's fine in Austin Powers because he doesn't have to do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, he could. That movie could have been fine without him too.
That's
Yeah.
his best role.
No, he's great in Buffy.
Oh, he
For
is in
Vampire
Buffy.
Slayer?
Seasons, 3 seasons.
That
Yeah.
that
Yeah, the
sucked,
show.
though.
He's a werewolf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he also
I did not
dates
watch
Willow,
that.
a witch.
Yeah, he also dates Willow.
That's the most messed
What
up
the
show. Now that I think about it, like it was fun
Yeah.
when you're watching. You're like, "Oh, this is a great show. Okay, vampires, that's cool. Witches, okay, cool. Werewolves, all right." And then you think back about it, you're like, "How the fuck does this all make sense?"
It doesn't. It's a
No, it doesn't.
vampire werewolf witch
Yeah.
show. It doesn't need to make sense. That like the 90s were prime time for
There
that
was so
kind
much
of
cocaine
shit.
going on in the 90s.
It's like
Let's
the
say 80s had cocaine. I think it was the 90s was the cocaine year with all the shit that they pushed out. Like this movie.
Yeah, like this movie.
Anytime Jay and Silent Bob are on screen in this movie, it gets really cartoony. And I don't know that I really like that tone. I'm fine with the weird kind of like douchebag conversation parts, because I think Kevin Smith,
Mhm.
even if his characters are kind of assholes, writes pretty good dialogue that feels authentic, even if it's obviously written as like dialogue in a movie. It still feels like it works.
It's not
But anytime-
they don't feel shoehorned in certain parts. Like you're watching
Yeah.
some movies and you're like, they're just pushing that because they need it for future. Like Kevin Smith, his dialogue is like, I can actually see two assholes actually having that conversation.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then you swap to Jay and Silent Bob doing cartoonish, like, grappling hook, run faster than police guys. And I'm like, okay, I think
Yeah.
I know what you're going with, but, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me that the difference in tone didn't quite work for me. And I wasn't a big Kevin Smith guy when I was younger. So I don't know if I just didn't get in on time.
Yeah, I think you're too young.
Yes.
You weren't right at the
I was
peak
young when
because,
this one came out.
like 90s 95.
Yep.
I was 16. This was the first one of Kevin Smith's movies that I saw in the theater. It's only his second movie, but this is the one that I saw in the theater. This is the one that got me into. So I was like watching this movie as a 16-year-old. This thing was awesome. Watching it as a 40-year-old, I'm like, I can see why I loved this as a 15-year-old. I don't love it so much anymore. Like I said, the dialogue, I'm on the opposite end of you. I think the Jay and Silent Bob stuff works the best. Like their dialogue somehow seems the most natural, even though they are doing that cartoonish stuff. But the dialogue between especially Jason Lee and anybody else is so written that like nobody talks like that.
Right.
Except for
like
Yeah.
Shannen Doherty does a fine job of like going back and forth with him. Like oh, this is how this guy talks. But everybody else, like if Jason Lee was the only one who talked like that, it would be okay, because then everybody would have to react to him like Shannen Doherty does, like, oh, this asshole is going on one of his one of his like dialogues again.
Right.
But nobody else does. Everybody else sort of tries to match him, and I don't think it worked as well as his back and forth between him and Shannen Doherty.
Right.
I mean, that might just be me though.
With the Shannen Doherty thing, you have more of a, there's established relationship. Like, like they're a couple. She's already dealt with him doing these stupid things.
Yeah.
Whereas when he's conversing with other people, they don't have that intimate relationship with him. So it's either their friends or acquaintances. So they're like, well, I need to. He seems to be this cool guy where he's the main character, so I have to live up to that. So I have to try and talk like him, instead of where Shannon's like, "You're a fucking cock. Stop."
Yeah.
Like, stop being a pretentious asshole. And I think actually, what's funny is I think people watching like Kevin. This is a downfall of like Kevin Smith's films. You get actual people who watch and go, "Oh my god, Jason Lee is so cool," when they're like 16 years old. Mm-hmm. And then they try and imitate being like that person their whole life, and they don't realize, like, no, he's an asshole. Yeah. You can't treat people like this. But they go on thinking like this is because he's so cool. It's kind of like those people who think, like the cops wearing the Punisher logo on their stuff, or they just think it's cool because it's like this person, or those like I just finished watching The Matrix for the Phil Better show. And I remember everybody dressing like Neo or trying to walk like Morpheus with your hands behind your back. Like, I'm trying, like, it hurts. Like, how did he do it for so long? Or just trying to be like that pretentious douchebag. Like, I think, unfortunately, movies like directors like Kevin Smith and the Wachowskis caused a great generation of douchebaggery to come out.
Douchebaggery.
Douchebaggery. Look it up. It's a word. It's a word.
That's got to be the name of the episode.
The douchebaggery episode.
The douchebaggery episode.
That should just be your next podcast, Phil.
The douchebag report with Phil Better. I have too many podcasts. I can't have another one.
Actually, it should just be called Phil Better Douchebaggery.
Douchebaggery.
The first guest I'm going to have on is Michael.
Zing.
Now, what did everybody think of Ben Affleck's character? That's what I want. Like,
one of the best characters he's ever played, because it's so true to character. It's just so true to him. That's what I find. Like, when he's playing characters that are easy for him, like someone from Boston, so like Good Will Hunting, The Town, where he doesn't really have to act. In essence, he can just be himself.
Right.
It makes them. It just shows how good of an actor he actually is. Like, but when he has to do like old timey stuff or like something like Daredevil, and you're like, oh god, stop trying to act, please, just stop trying to act. Go back to Boston. Go back to writing
the
movies.
Fashionable male.
Yes. Fashionable male. Yep.
Oh, the names of the stores in this movie fucking
They're good.
suck. I hate them.
They're intentionally awful. Are you kidding?
I know they're intentionally, but there's one called the Carpet Eatery or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fucking stupid, because what is it? Like, is it a carpet store in a mall? That's not a thing. That was just a store that you made up so that you could call it that, you fucking jerk off.
Come on, he's a child at heart. Like, look, you're writing a movie, you will get to name all the stores, and you're pretty much the mental IQ of a child to be safe. Like, come on, we all have that. Like, if I was making a movie and I had to fill out stores and I didn't get the rights to any of I would so do so close to Carpet Muncher, Carpet Eatery, all the things, like all the not slurs, but all the like innuendos I could. I wouldn't boo slurs. I'm sorry. I wanted to say innuendos. All the innuendos I could, because it just makes it more fun, because everybody's going to be watching that, and anybody paying attention would see it and be like, hey.
Would see it and be like, God, fucking stop it.
You would, but every single testosterone male would have been like, nice.
Right.
It's like the innuendos don't bother me. It's just the fact that it's such a stretch. It's like,
is that going to be the yoga store you run at the mall? Such a stretch.
such a stretch. Hey,
Such a
that's
stretch. There you go.
something.
There you
That's
go.
something that would be in a mall. A carpet store would not be in a mall. And they definitely wouldn't call a carpet store carpet munchers.
Or the cookie.
Says you.
The
Says
cookie
you.
stand.
I don't know. You just said that the cartoony stuff with Jay and Silent Bob works, and when you get cartoony with the store names,
I don't know. It's
I'm just saying. Yeah.
You're right about the tone of this movie. The tone is so all over the place that it all depends on what works, especially for me, because I don't know why I think certain things are funny. Like I don't know personally
It's the
why I
callback,
like
'cause they
stuff and
call
why I
back.
don't.
Since we had the legendary Chris Harvey on, I've realized comedy is all about the callback.
Mhm.
So you find it funny because they're calling back to something. That's why it's funny.
Yeah. Chris always saying that comedy is only about callbacks sort of drives me crazy too. I wish he was here because I want to see what
would've
he
said
thinks
that.
of all of these callbacks. I've told him that.
I know
Yeah.
you have.
He's very Chris Harvey is very big on like there's one type of comedy, and I've told him before that drives me insane.
Wait, I would so like him to watch Monty Python and any of the Monty Pythons
Any of them.
actually, and see what he thinks of those. Because like some of their stuff I find funny, some of them I don't, but I appreciate the comedic ability that these guys have. Because they run the gambit of
Yeah,
silliness.
It's so weird because I would have thought that Chris Harvey would have been all in on Kevin Smith movies because it is so juvenile and callbacky and punny. And that seems to be right up his alley. So I have no idea what he would think about Monty Python. I mean, Monty Python works for me every time, even when it's stupid. There's something in there that works for me, but yeah, I don't know.
It has some parts in Mighty Python. It has some parts where it's funny, but for the most part, I'm just like watching it.
You're just watching.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
like this. Yeah, I chuckle sometimes, but for the most part, I'm just watching it.
Like Kevin Smith movies, you just watch it.
It's
That's
pretty
sort of-
much.
Yeah, that's sort of how I've been with everything except for Clerks. I'm like just watching this and I'm like, why did I like this so much when I was 16, 17, 18 years old?
Did you guys notice that TS was trying on a Clerk's hat on the dirt mall?
Yes, I did
Yes.
I
notice.
did not.
I got that.
The hat that
No.
he puts on, it was the Clerk's hat.
The
Oh,
dirt
my
mall
God.
part was where I was eating dinner and paying as little attention to this movie as I could.
The dirt mall part was actually kind of funny with the third
I-
nipple lady.
Yeah.
It just turns
thought
out
that
it's
was pretty
bubble gum.
funny.
She just takes it off and starts chewing on it.
I
Yeah,
I
she
do way
goes
better.
pineapple or something.
I do way better when I don't have to talk in character, and I'm like, cool, okay, that's pretty good. Like
Right?
dropping the facade is a comedy bit that I generally like. I'm like, all right, and then she turns out to have pretty sound advice. I'm like, cool,
Yeah.
this works.
Yeah.
And having TS completely not fall for it, but completely buy into it. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
this is yeah,
Yeah,
Some-
how the characters did like a 180.
yeah.
Like Brodie was all about it. Then when he saw the third nipple, he's just like, I'm gonna throw up.
It's like you're upset
this-
because you're worried that you're gonna get what is it? You're gonna be inspired and want to follow up on my empowerment or something like that.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So
This movie, for some reason, even though very little happens in this movie, it feels very drawn out. It feels like this was originally about 45 minutes worth of content. And they're like, no, let's make this a movie. So we're going to stretch it out. So they added so much like dialogue and bullshit.
yeah, the dialogue and the one-liners is like what is like my favorite part of the movie. It's just like some of the quotes that they say in the middle of like nowhere. Like Brodie's character flipping out the entire movie just makes it. That makes the entire movie. And without him, it's just a love story. It's not a comedy, which is supposed to be like a comedy romance, a romantic comedy or whatever.
I feel he did a better job in the romantic comedy with Chasing Amy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He
this
took what he
is-
learned
this
from
is-
this movie and like Chasing Amy is probably next to I put Clerks as number one for me in Kevin Smith movies because it's the movie that kind of like showed me that anybody can do anything. Like it's such a great this dude sold his comic books to make this movie, so like he went all in on it, and I can appreciate that. But Chasing Amy is probably in my top 3 of Kevin Smith movies.
Yeah, Chasing Amy's up there with me too. I do like Chasing
got
Amy.
shit for saying it during the Clerks episode, but I do think that Chasing Amy was his best movie. It's definitely not the funniest one, but it's definitely the most structurally sound movie and like plot driven thing.
It's the most like proper movie he's done.
Yeah, it's definitely his most proper movie. Dogma's up there, but like
Dogma was fantastic, but that's
yeah,
not
for all of the Kevin Smith movies that are on everybody's top 5 movies. We didn't get Chasing Amy or Dogma like his best 2 movies, which I thought was really weird.
I do like Dogma. Dogma is one of my favorite movies. Not obviously not my top 5, but it is one of my favorite.
Dogma's a good one.
Yeah.
This was my first Kevin Smith movie. I was going to say that. So he hooked me.
Wait, you didn't watch Clerks?
No, his first movie I saw was Mallrats.
Oh, okay. The first movie you saw was Mallrats. Okay.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah. So
you were on the Clerks episode. I'm pretty sure you were.
Yeah, Jerian did say that he watched Clerks 2 before he watched Clerks.
Yeah, that's
true.
I did.
If I remember, it was just because it was in color.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also because it had Rosario Dawson in it, which I don't blame you for that either.
Yeah. No,
hell, it's the only reason I watched the third one. Or no, Strike Back. Fuck.
What?
What?
Yeah. So
what was the most
podcasting
recent
is
Kevin
hard.
Smith movie?
The most recent one?
Yeah, Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Oh, the reboot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was okay.
That happened?
Yeah.
That happened. And Clerks 3 is happening too.
Yep.
No, I know.
I can't wait
I've
for
been
Clerks
seeing-
3.
Yeah, I've been seeing his Clerks 3 stuff, but I had no idea about this Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yeah, it's
look it up.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon, I believe.
It's
On Amazon.
It's so silly. it's like Jay and Silent Bob, like how they were cartoony in this movie, Mallrats. They take the cartooniness to the full extreme in the reboot movie, and it's like
Clerks cartoon.
Yeah, they even go further than a Clerks cartoon.
True. Yeah. They're old though. They're a lot older.
That's how linear time works.
Yeah. Like,
I was watching.
I just want to go back in time and get
hard
the
on
OJ.
Matrix.
Yeah. Yes, it did. But what did everyone think about the game show? The game show part where Brodie's is pretty much tearing into contestant number 3.
A mall is an interesting place to hold a filming for a game show. Feels like you don't have a whole lot of control over it, as evidenced in the movie itself.
Uh-huh.
I actually, when I was a kid growing up right around this time, we actually did have a mall where they did film like a couple of game shows, like different game shows. So this is definitely a thing that happened in malls in the 90s. Like
I remember that.
I've literally sat there in an audience and watched this happen. So this is definitely a real thing. It wasn't as big of a production as it is in this movie, but because there's like several hundred people in the audience of this thing.
Yeah.
Like the audience for this is huge.
It's like a Jerry Springer show.
I don't miss malls either, Dylan.
But yeah, this definitely did happen in malls in the 90s. And we didn't even have that big of a mall.
Do you guys still have malls? Because I have a mall right down the road.
Yeah, we got malls.
Yeah, I have one that's I think theoretically still working.
In college in Ohio, we had a mall in the town, and we called it the Small because it was a single line. It was a single line of building. Well, it was inside, but it was like a single mall with a crossbar, and that was it. It was like a plus sign of a mall. It had a movie theater. It was the only movie theater in town. Yeah.
Yeah.
all malls need to have movie theaters. I think it's like mandatory. If a mall doesn't have a movie theater, it's not a true mall.
Our mall doesn't have a movie theater.
It's not.
We
a true
have-
mall,
But it's
then.
huge. It's huge.
We have
though.
one mall. We have one mall that got demolished and is now just a department store, a gym, and the movie theater still standing. And then we have one mall that every time I go there, it shrinks at least 1 or 2 stores. And then there's one up the other way that is dark in 3/4 of it, and one hallway still has stores. And as the stores leave, the other ones that are like, they sort of get grouped together. So there's like a food court and then a group of like 6 stores that are still open.
That's the place I want to be during a zombie apocalypse. That mall.
I don't think you
That
do,
mall.
because there's like malls, despite the fact that like it's a big setting for zombie movies, any mall that I've ever been to has a lot of glass
Yeah,
and
a lot
like
of windows.
easy, lots of entrances.
Yeah.
it's,
Mhm.
it's not
I was
where I
being
would want to be
sarcastic.
during the zombie apocalypse.
I was being sarcastic, but okay.
I don't think you were.
I think you
you're
were
just
serious.
saying that to save face.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go all the way to Mike's place when there's a zombie apocalypse. Let's travel over 1,000 kilometers, or like 18 football fields for you Americans, because you guys don't use regular fucking measurements.
We don't
That
use
is-
football
we
fields either.
measure things by football field.
He's
You
not
do.
wrong.
I'm sorry. There is enough fucking evidence on the news that you guys produce that shows that you guys will use washing machines, football fields, cars. There's a
Toilet- yeah,
report
toilet
of a
rolls.
sinkhole saying, yeah, we can fit 14. It's the size of 14 washing machines. Like, what the hell? Can't you just say it's like 18 feet across by 20? Like,
I mean,
come on.
My unit of measurement for like trunks of cars is how many bodies could I
Yeah,
fit in
the
here?
trunks of cars is universal. How many dead bodies can you fit in this? That's universal.
He's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I told you.
Google it.
Kansas City, Missouri, 6 to 7 washing machines.
I told you.
Jesus Christ.
You guys do chickens. So here's the
That's
Yeah.
Missouri, though. You can't blame the whole country for Missouri.
That's true.
again.
That's
We can
true.
blame Missouri and look. You have Missouri and Florida and Texas. No offense to my Texas brother. You guys have some crazy shit.
You're leaving a few out there.
Phil, when you come and invade America
1812.
and bring your
1812.
health insurance and stuff,
1812.
also bring metric, please.
Also bring
'Cause you're right.
The entire world's metric, but us.
Yeah, it's very stupid. There's so much stuff that the entire world does except for us. But yeah, I am tired of measuring sinkholes by washing machine.
We what's funny is in Quebec we have the worst roads because the mob owns all the construction companies.
Then
And they're
you should
cheap.
have the best roads.
No,
you
we have
just the worst mafia.
No, the mafia is like they're bad. At one point, actually, the head of the family here was actually had a hit on him from the 5 families in New York because he was slightly more powerful than all 5 families. But you can get your car if your car's damaged by a pothole. They literally said it has to fit a chicken. If it doesn't fit a chicken, it doesn't count as a pothole.
Huh.
A
doesn't fit a
live
chicken.
chicken.
Go get a
or
chicken.
I don't know if it's a live or dead chicken. I never asked. But it's like, really? We're gonna go to the American style and use a chicken instead of actually like, it's 18 inches deep or like 44 centimeters deep, No.
Mhm.
It would be easier to go grab a ruler and measure the pothole than it would be to find a chicken, catch
There you
it, and then
There you
measure
go.
the pothole.
Unless the city of Montreal or the province of Quebec actually just have like everybody road drivers just go out, get the chicken, Jean-Guy, and check if it's a bad hole. The
You're
chicken
not
doesn't fit, we're
assigned.
good.
You're not assigned chickens by the government when you turn
No.
18.
No.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately not. Is that something that happens in Colorado? I
No,
don't know. Okay. I don't know.
So the part where Jay and Silent Bob
Going
Yeah.
back to the movie. Chickens.
there is one thing that I was like, all right, this is a little bit of an overkill. the amount of cops that show up to stop these guys from ruining a mall game show is ridiculous. There's a van and 2 cars, and like 16 cops get out, and they're like lining this place because these guys like smoked out 2 contestants and took over their spot. Like, I'm not quite sure what the big deal was. How are we getting? Are we saying that Michael Rooker's character has that much pull in like the town that he can get all of the cops?
It's probably the only crime going on, and he's like, "We have a crime," and all the cops are like, "Oh my god, we got crime, let's go!" And they're all running around like fucking chickens with their head cut off.
I promise you that there's more crimes than this going on in anywhere in New Jersey at any time.
Well, here's the safest crime that they can go to.
Right.
I don't want to die. It's
Everyone
fucking
pile
Jersey
up.
in the 90s.
We got this disturbance. Let's go.
Yeah, this was silly, and then you find out that this 20-year-old girl playing a 15-year-old girl is getting fucked in a very uncomfortable position. These guys in this movie are supposed to be high schoolers.
None of them look like high schoolers.
They are all 30. They are the oldest. Like, people talk shit on 90210 for this. These guys are the oldest guys playing teenagers.
Yep.
Like, Jason Lee looks like he's 30 in this movie, and so does the guy playing TS.
What I don't understand, this is what fucked up a lot of people, I think, growing up, because they would watch this movie like, oh, they're supposed to be 13, 14, they're supposed to be my age. And then you realize, like, life is not like this. These people are like 98, not 98, 30 years old, or like,
they're not as old as I am now.
You are
That's true.
You're as old as time, Michael.
Well,
like, when they invented time, you were already alive.
I was at one point 16 years old, and I knew that these guys were not my age.
Don't lie. You were never 16. Okay. You were 16, 18 universes ago, or time cycles of the universe.
I was 16 in 16 AD.
No, further back. Further back. Keep going.
Trying to claim you're Jesus, Michael?
Don't tell anybody.
Don't say
you have Jesus on the podcast. Great.
All right. Yeah, sure.
I mean, only Jesus could grow a beard this good.
But he's not white.
No comment.
Yeah,
no comment.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna stay away from that one.
Not religious, but you never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Me and Dan, we want to try to keep any and all sponsors that are coming to us, so we will.
Yeah.
Kindly step away.
Please, yeah. I'm gonna.
I already collected the check, so I'm good.
I'm actively trying to keep the sponsors away. Sorry, guys. That's what happens when you get into business with the punk rock podcaster. You lose all your sponsors.
They can listen to Twitching Upstream if they want radical stuff.
Radical stuff. Do you guys want to get into reels? Because we got like 10 minutes left.
Yeah,
sure.
Because we're just going off point anyway.
We've pretty much covered this movie. It's a bunch of people hang out in a mall and talk about how their relationships are
doing
shitty.
the exact movie. Yep. We're recreating the movie right now.
That's actually
we need them all.
Accurate. The tagline for this movie is "They're not here to shop. They're not here to work. They're just here."
Yeah,
and that's like the whole movie wrapped up in 3 sentences.
Yeah,
I mean. These guys
that's
and
the podcast wrapped up in 3 sentences.
And we have turned this into a much more conversational podcast than I'm comfortable with. But but yeah,
I'm here to talk about movies. Damn it.
In the 90s, this was definitely me and my friends. We were definitely there. I don't think we ever after this movie came out, we did start carrying around sample-sized cups to get free drinks. That is definitely something that we did because, we weren't the only ones.
It's a loophole.
So punk rock.
Yeah.
The weird thing about this movie is, this is set in 1995, and there is not. I did not see an arcade in this mall. This is a huge mall. you would think that a scene would get set in an arcade because that was like a big thing. Like I remember in 1995, you know, when more like the new Mortal Kombat or the new Street Fighter would come out, there would be literal lines out the door for people waiting to play these games. It was a big thing, and this movie has video games in it, but we don't have an arcade.
I think because it couldn't get the rights to show the games in the arcade.
They
make up fake ones.
Yeah, that's what they did. He made up 100 fake stores. He could have made up 50 fake video games and painted over some arcade cabinets.
Right.
Like Street Puncher. They could have made Street Puncher too. Like,
funny. Made it funny. Just like
there, I'm doing your job for you.
Where were you in
Combat.
95, Mike,
go,
helping out Kevin Smith with these ideas?
Yeah,
he was 16.
Probably getting back surgery.
My favorite mall story. I say this arcade thing just so I can tell the story where we had an arcade in our mall back in the 90s, and it had this huge, like, red pipe that ran across the top of it. And I was going into the arcade one day, and I jumped up and smacked it, and it fell off and landed on top of me.
Serves you right.
And in order to have the mall not like sue me, my dad had to go and put the pipe back up on the wall.
Wow.
Because they wanted to find me and make me pay for it.
So you could have told us this story 15 episodes ago and never had to explain anything about yourself. It all makes sense now. It all came together.
It all makes sense now.
It makes sense why Mike is the way he is.
The pipe did it all.
Yeah, it was the pipe.
The pipe tends to do it all.
But yeah, it actually was. It did stick out to me that there was no arcade in this movie.
No, that was
1995, based on a mall.
Yeah, that was a good point.
Now that you mention it, it does make it a little odd that he spent carpet eatery.
Yeah.
I so want to name a company, Carpet Eatery. That's it. It has nothing to do with carpets. No idea what it does, but it's just called that. And I'm gonna just say, by Michael.
Don't know.
Okay.
I want nothing to do with.
Oh yeah. Hey. Oh, you're.
Even though it is called Carpet Munchers in the movie, and I did make up Carpet Eatery, I still want nothing to do with it.
Oh, you're getting all the fame, punk rocker. All the fame.
All the fame.
Okay, now we can go into reels. Now that I have my arcade. Now that
I thought that's what you were doing.
Yeah, we were jumping to you, and you went off on this tangent about a red pipe that you broke. You created vandalism.
I did. We vandalized the shit out of that mall.
We've all vandalized a mall, haven't we? I know I have.
We also, like, the outside of that mall also had, like, bricks that stuck out, and we would climb up to the roof. There was nothing up there. We didn't do anything up there. We just climbed it so that we could do it.
Do we
Look,
need
guys,
to be aware
about this? We got to give Michael 5 minutes. We talked about this backstage before he got on. We got to give him 5 minutes just to let him go.
Okay, Mike.
Let's go.
Sitting on the porch, let the man ramble.
Look, man, I'm an old man with a lot of stories, and if you don't want to hear them, just tell me I'm fired from the show, and then
you have Jack Billings for that. That's your other podcast. Is your story podcast?
I love.
No, I don't get to tell stories in that podcast. I'm the one who has to listen to the crazy stories on that show.
Oh, so you're punishing us?
Yeah.
Just wanted to be clear. We're being punished.
Sure.
Phil, you and I are going to start a new show where you just sit there and listen to me tell stories about what happened when I was, 17 years old.
I'm just going to mute you the whole time. Oh, that's amazing. My God. Just have a button that I just press every so often.
Yeah, a little sound machine. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll just have that button play. Every time he says something, I just press the button.
Aren't you glad you spent $500 on that thing, Phil?
$700.
Ridiculous. For somebody who loves money as much as you do, you sure love to waste it too.
See this, but Mike, here's the thing. I don't need my computer to do a podcast anymore, I have a full studio with this device. So I can bring
is
this
kinda
wherever
cool.
I want, and all I need is a microphone, and that's it. I don't need my computer or anything. It comes with a micro USB. You slap it in, hit the big red record button, and I have a podcast right there. I can do it all there.
The Real Boys
not-
is sponsored by.
It's not that much smaller than a laptop, which I can do a podcast with if I have a microphone with me.
Yeah, but you can only have one microphone plugged into your laptop. If I'm doing interviews, which is my podcasts, I need to have more. And this allows me to have up to 4, plus my phone, plus if I need a computer, plus another phone through Bluetooth. So go fuck yourself. It was
The
a
Real
worthy
Boys is
investment.
sponsored by Rodecaster Pro.
Pro.
Why don't you waste a bunch of money on some pointless bullshit?
I also want a Rodecaster Pro, so I have nothing to say about this.
Hey,
I want one. I'm
Rodecaster, go
sorry.
Fuck yourself.
Sorry, Mr. Bootstrapping the world. Mr. Punk Rocker against, improving the
Bootstrapping the
quality. Bootstrapping. You don't want to spend any money to make your equipment better.
That doesn't make any sense. Anyway,
Okay, on the
this
reels.
movie.
Take us away, Dan.
Dylan, let's give us your reels since Mike decided to go on a tangent.
This movie's fine. I'm giving it a 6, which is I don't dislike this movie. I don't really seek it out. I think there are other Kevin Smith movies I like more. 6 out of 10, straight across the bow, average. I'm Dylan. Find me at all the Some Nobody stuff, Talking Upstream, Twitching Upstream. Got No Time to Binge on Wednesdays. You can listen to Silicon Angels, Choose Your Own Pod Venture, that sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't have anything else. That's it. 6 out of 10. Bye, everybody.
All right,
It's me. Okay.
Mr. Phil.
I'm Phil Better, the podcast mogul. I have multiple podcasts. I have the Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur podcast, Invest in Yourself, the podcast series, Better Pain, a wrestling podcast. I have the Phil Better show and Stock Dirty to Me. I give this a 7.5 because it's my second favorite Kevin Smith movie, probably in the world. Anyways, yeah, you can catch me pretty much daily doing a podcast on my Facebook page or on Instagram at Podcaster Phil Better. Thank you. Good night.
Mr. Jerry Blaze.
Like I said, man, first Kevin Smith film made me a big fan. I love this movie. Great 90s nostalgia. I was around the same age as Michael too when this came out, so this was awesome to me, man. I definitely see how it's in your top 5. If I would have thought about it, it might have been in mine too. So I'm gonna give it a 9. Give it a strong 9, man. I really like this movie. I think it holds up well still too if you just watch it again. But yeah, strong 9 for me. Jerry and Blaze, Cloud Chronicles. Bet That with Dan and Jerry on Thursdays, sports podcast, and The Real Boys. And I got a new podcast called The Pants Are Off, coming soon.
Awesome.
Peace.
Michael Comey.
I am also going to give this a 6. It's very watchable now. If you would have asked me when I was 17, I would have given it a 9. But now, it's watchable, but it's not nearly. It's probably my second least favorite Kevin Smith movie. But I still like it way better than I like Jay and Silent Bob on the rewatch. Anyway, I'm Michael Colby. I have as many podcasts as Phil does, but mine are good. I got Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex, Generation Clash, No Time to Binge, I Love This Terrible Game, and then, of course, I'm here every Monday and Friday, unlike some of the Real Boys. I'm always here, so you can always listen to my beautiful voice talking about movies and probably some other shit that nobody cares about.
Awesome. And I'm Dan Levely, DL Smokes, aka Danny Dribbles, man of many nicknames. And this was Mallrats, and this is a 9, a solid 9 for me. I love this movie. The one-liners are on point. I laughed throughout the entire movie, and I don't know, the dialogue, not the dialogue, but the theme really didn't. I don't know, really didn't. The plot really didn't make any much sense. But anyways, I love this movie. You can catch me on Oops Caught Me Smoking every Saturday night live, and you can catch me on Bet That with Dan and Jerian on Thursdays at 9:00 live. And you can catch me live on The Real Boys every Monday and Friday. I go live a lot. That's it. Bye. Oh, wait.